Hey everybody, how are you guys doing? This is the CBD Warrior, and I'm coming to you with my second stand to. My first one, I had some technical difficulties and could not get it to download from my phone. So instead of repeating that, I'm just going to go ahead and uh, continue on with my sharing my story with you guys. So if you guys have any questions about who I am, please take a look at my first video, A Day in the Life of the CBD Warrior. It'll tell you a little bit about me. I want to be an open book for you guys. I want to be, let me turn this light on here so you guys can see me a little bit better. There we go. I want to be someone that interacts with you guys. I don't want to just be up here talking just about myself. I want to be able to share my story and help anyone who is wanting to listen and learn from my mistakes, because I, in my 43 years, 44, carry the 7. Anyways, I think I'm 44. No, I'm going to be 44. So in my 43 years, I've made some mistakes. So a little bit about me for you guys who don't know, just real quick. I served 20 years in the military, and about 14 of those I got to be in the top 10% of the U.S. Army, and an amazing organization. And I started off that journey by finding the goal, knowing what I wanted to do, and preparing myself mentally and physically. But at the same time, as much preparation as I was making, I had to go ahead and step into the unknown. I had to get outside my comfort zone, right? So that, along with my preparation mentally and physically, allowed me to continue to improve myself. And I continued on with that. And I knew the end state that I wanted to get to. I knew the goal that I wanted to accomplish. So I made it through the selection process, and then I moved into additional training. And thank goodness I was found worthy and was accepted within the force. So I achieved that goal, right? So I had all this big gusto, and I was continuing to improve myself and learn and you know, make myself a master of my craft. And then, and I'm talking, you know, this didn't happen overnight, but years later, like almost a decade later, and it may have been because I was burnt out or whatever, but that's not an excuse. But I started to slough off, right? Started to slough off on physical training. I started to slough off on learning new positions, and it's because I felt like I was a master of my craft, right? I was comfortable where I was. And to be quite honest with you, it sucks to say this, but I was not willing at that time to put the work in. I thought I had made it, and I was comfortable with that. And that led me to, part of that was, you know, I started believing the hype of things that I had been told about myself, which was honestly just good leaders that were telling me things to keep me motivated. But instead of using that to continue to push me, push myself to get better, I became very conceited and quite honestly unteachable, right? And that led me down a road that made me one of probably the most calloused and I wouldn't say unprofessional, but definitely someone that wasn't humble in myself anymore, or humble with my colleagues anymore. I kind of felt like I had I was like a royalty or something, you know what I mean? Like I was owed something. Honestly, I felt like I was self-entitled. There we go. And that sucks saying that to you guys, right? If I have anybody on here that knew me back then, you guys, I'm sure, like nodding up and down. Yep, you were a gigantic ass, and I was, and I apologize for that. So I during that time frame, I wasn't working to continue to improve myself, right? I had a profession that I loved, and for whatever reason, and I say whatever reason because it doesn't matter, I decided to, along the way, to quit improving myself daily. And it made me bitter, right? Well, actually, let me back up. I realized because I wasn't improving myself and all of my colleagues around me were, I started becoming irrelevant. And that is what made me bitter. But instead of taking a step back and doing some self-reflection and looking inside myself and saying, hey, idiot, you need to get on the game because these guys, they're playing in the pros and you're playing down in Pop Warner or Pee Wee League or something like that right now. I continue to have a bad attitude. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys is because I don't want people to go down that same road. If I can help one person, then amazing. That's what I want to do, right? I want to reach out to that one person. You guys, I'm reaching up and touching my phone so I can look at my talking points. Every time I'm raising my arm, that's what I'm doing. But if I can reach one person and help them not go through the heartache, the eating of crow that I had to do that sucked, but I'm so glad that I did it because it made me realize that this was a self-inflicted wound that I had done to myself, right? I was in this shit show because of me, not because of other people, not because of other circumstances. It was because I had made choice after choice after choice that was not positive, that was not challenging. So that's why I wanted to share with you guys. I want everyone to understand that if I had continued to improve myself, I wouldn't have gone down that road at all, right? I would have remained sharp like I was at the very beginning when I had set that goal initially and I knew what I wanted to get to. So a couple things. I didn't set additional goals also, so I didn't have something to really work for, right? If I had, then I would have, it would have helped me to continue to strive for other things. But also too, just the long and short of it, I got lazy. And, this happens to, I think, everyone at some times. And I'm not saying people don't need a break and need to have some downtime. But if you can relate to this, please learn from my mistake, right? Dig deep and realize that you don't feel this way. You don't feel aggravated or pissed or mad about where you're at because of your job or your boss or your situation. It's because you're not working on you. That's the biggest thing, right? Because if you're working on you, it doesn't matter what's happening around you. You're going to be a positive person because you're working on yourself to improve yourself, not for someone else, not for some other thing, but for you, because you are finding yourself worthy. They have the saying of iron sharpening iron and surrounding yourself with excellent people. That's the thing. One of the things that we all need to focus on is we need to surround ourselves with people that support us, surround ourselves with people that challenge us and push us, right? In a healthy way. So, greatness, it's not built in a day. It's a daily process. Someone's not going to go from being a couch potato to being a triathlete and, winning a gold medal in a day. It's going to take time, right? It's going to take time. It's going to take commitment. It's going to take pushing yourself and getting outside of that comfort zone and figuring things out like, oh my God, my body is the most amazing machine ever. And if I can let my mind get past, my body can do anything. If I can let my mind say, I'm tired, but I'm going to keep going, I'm going to push more, and I'm going to do more reps, or I'm going to do, one more sprint or whatever, then that's what's going to help us. That's what's going to sharpen us. And I'm using physical, like workout terminology, but it can apply to anything, right? If I study more, if I study, read another book about a subject that I need to know about, anything like that will help us to grow and to get better. So I'm challenging you guys. I'm challenging you guys right now, and I'm challenging myself too. So I'm not just coming at you and kind of preaching to you. I'm saying the same thing. I want you to find one thing about yourself. I want you to think about it for a minute when you hit the pause button. And I want you to think for 1 second, what is one thing that you do not like about yourself? And I'm not saying this to be unhealthy at all, but there's always one thing that we know we can improve on. Maybe you guys have nothing that you don't like about yourself, but at the same time, you have one thing that you don't like about yourself, right? Or you know you can improve on. I'm sorry. You have one thing you know you can improve on. Make the steps right now. Sit there and think about what you're going to do to change that. Like, I'll give you an example. If you know that at the end of the day you're tired, you don't want to do anything, let's say you have to go to a store to pick something up, and you see someone and the last person you want to do is be polite to them, then challenge yourself to be outward and open and say hello to them and talk to them and give some of yourself, because we never know what people are going through, right? We never know. That may be the one thing that one person needs to hear the most, is that they matter to somebody, and you just changed their life in a positive way. And it's such a ripple effect, guys. It just bleeds into everybody else. And if we would all just continue to work on ourselves, then as corny as it sounds, this world would be an amazing place. So I challenge you guys to find that one thing that you want to improve about yourself and start those steps right now. And I want you guys to share them with me. I will share mine with you next week, next Wednesday. And I will be sharing it from a very beautiful, very tropical place, probably with a cold drink in my hand, looking at the ocean. So I look forward to doing that. So please tune in. Hit the subscribe button if you want to follow what I've got to say, what I've got to share, and you want to start sharing it with me. So I want you guys to have a great day. I want you to think about that. Take that second, take that minute, take that 5 minutes for yourself and figure out the one thing you want to improve about yourself and start making those steps and continue to do those steps every day until that becomes a habit. And once that's accomplished, move on to the next and find something else and keep sharpening yourself. And you guys help me sharpen myself too. Okay, guys, have a wonderful day. I will talk to you guys next week.